Hey folks, it's Bear. Today we're going to be going over, just wanted to talk about the patch notes for the upcoming Marvel Rivals season. It's looking like they're making some pretty big changes. I was telling my friends earlier, if I had to put a label on this, I'd call it the label of this is the season of bonus health, or at least the patch notes of bonus health, one way or the other. We're going to take a look at these changes here. Captain America, first and foremost, Mr. Dive Champ himself, he's going to be losing base health 25 and 50 off of his shield, but it's important to remember that he's becoming an anchor now for Bucky. So I would suspect that with the change to his anchor, that I bet you he's going to come back up in health, or in some way survivability. I doubt they give him just damage, considering his Vanguard role, but we'll see. Doctor Strange coming up, losing, frankly, a lot of damage. Two damage off of every shot of his daggers of Danak, or however you say that. But it's 3 shots each time, so it's actually 6 damage off total the full hit if you hit all 3 hits. And beyond that, they're actually reducing the ratio of his E, the Stark Magic ratio here. That's his E of how much damage you get out of it, by another 10%. So I suspect that these 2 things right here are going to significantly put a hampering on how much damage you can do on Doctor Strange. You're typically doing left click melee, E to get most of your damage out of that, and now that combo is going to lose at least 12 damage plus this ratio of 10%, maybe like 20 damage. So I'd suspect they're going to decrease quite a bit of damage on Doctor Strange there. With Hulk, Mr. Green Goliath. So we see another tank getting the same change. We'll get to that in a minute. But the base movement speed going from 600 to 650 means that he's going to be able to chase people down quite a bit. If we look at other heroes here, like Mr. Adam Warlock, well, he's not the best use case, is he? But he is Mr. Walk, and he moves at 6 meters per second. I don't really have a comparison. I'm assuming that's like 600. So now he's actually faster than the base movement speed of a lot of heroes. And so I think that may play a part in his being able to stick to people. Beyond that, though, his indestructible guard, that's his shift. His shield that he has is going to go from 12 to 10 seconds, so that's going to be coming up more often. And his incredible leap is going to charge faster from 0.7 to 0.5. He's going to be able to leap more often. He baseline moves faster, and he shields more often. He's going to be very dynamic, I feel like. We're going to see a big come up from Hulk here. Down at Mr. Magneto, the master of magnetism himself, just a straight nerf to his ult. More energy cost nerfs. They do this a lot to kind of tamp down if they see an ult going off too often. Personally, I haven't noticed Magneto ulting terribly often, but maybe that's just my pool of Magnetos I'm playing with. But if they see the data says that they need to ult less often, I'm happy about it. One-shotting supports is very hard to deal with, but you can also intercept this in a lot of ways. So especially with one of the new champions coming up, one of the new heroes coming up, Miss Penny Parker. I am scared of this change. She's getting 100 base health from 650 to 750. And she's faster while shooting her left click, her primary attack, her cyber web cluster, as it were. So she's literally twice as fast. She was slowed by 40% previously. She's only slowed by 20% now. And it has a chance to crit. So it headshots as well. Miss Penny Parker's left click was already a pretty constant source of damage for me. I'm going to be surprised if this does not really set her over the edge on how strong she'll be. Here we have the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. They're giving a small short nerf to his E to reduce how much efficiency he's getting out of it. I suspect this isn't so much for him, but rather the damage protection he was giving the people he was jumping to. It was making a lot of duelists survive things they otherwise would not have been able to survive, living through like full combos on a burst from Star-Lord, for example. So I'd suspect that this is mainly nerfed to who he was jumping to and not necessarily himself. Coming up to my personal favorite change. Everybody I play with knows I love Thor. The mighty Thor, the strongest Avenger, getting a buff 75 health from 525 to 600. He's also losing, they're getting compensation buff because he's losing access to, he's not the anchor anymore for the electricity buff that Storm and Captain America previously got in the Storm Union, or the Voltaic Union. So his base health is going up from 525 to 600. His base movement speed, just like the Hulk, like I said earlier, is going up from 600 to 650. This means he's going to be able to chase people down more readily. You're not going to have to rely on your shift and dash quite as much for catching up with people. I suspect this is going to be a popular change. For me personally, this is a huge change. I recently picked up Black Widow, and I've experienced her being a lot more fun than I thought she would be. As long as you're not playing her as like just a sniper. When you play as just a sniper, it's very boring. But she's very dynamic when you can get in and make use of her edge dancer kick. And we see that here. New effect with Black Widow. She can directly shoot after releasing the second edge kick of Edge Dancer and after using Electroplasma Explosion. This is going to set up her. She has a combo now. So previously you would do your E again to stun, and then you could shoot, but you'd have to cycle your rifle to do that. Killed the ability to do this combo. Now E again, headshot, because they're going to be stunned as they fall to the ground, and then you can shoot the headshot right after. That's going to kill a lot of duelists, especially a lot of flankers. And then also being able to shoot directly after Electroplasma Explosion means you're going to be able to combo shot, ult, shoot the head. Boom, boom. That's going to kill most people. The Electroplasma Explosion initial shot already kills most people if they're about half, 3/4 health or half health. A change I'm not happy to see. Hawkeye. Really, really not. I don't need Clint to be doing anything more than he already is. Slowing him was one drawback of the bow, but they're doing the same change as they did for Penny, kind of leveling the playing field, normalizing the data. So now he's slowed to 20% instead of 30%. Don't really care for that. Hypersonic Arrow, I see like never get kills or be the reason someone's killed in my experience. Hawkeye players, let me know. But otherwise, Hypersonic Arrow, an extra 5 damage per shot, so it's 10 damage for the total combo. I don't know if it's enough to set up anything for him to instantly kill someone. Maybe some of the lighter or squishier strategists. But otherwise, less damage on him would be better for me. I don't like sniper characters, specifically arrow characters. That's not their fault. It is their problem, though. Decreasing the energy cost for his ultimate Hunter's Sight from 3,700 to 3,100. He's going to be able to do it a lot more often. And the bonus he gets to draw speed, 1.3 to 1.5. He's already pretty fast. If you've ever seen him in his ult, he can shoot very quickly already. So increasing that by another 15% is going to be scary, to say the least. I suspect a lot of Hawkeyes are going to be coming out of the woodwork now that he's getting buffed again. Looking at Hela here, increasing the cooldown by a quarter, 12 to 15 seconds on her Astral Flock. This is when she turns into the bird. Pretty good. I feel like I've been too often killed, or not killed, but rather taken advantage of by a Hela where she'll hit and run away. You can't get to her anymore. Chasing after her now because she won't have a second escape could be the time it takes to be able to knock her down. Increases spell field damage of Piercing Night. This is when she kills someone, the thing they leave afterwards, the little AoE explosion. So that's going up. That's nice. And decreasing the cooldown time for Soul Drainer from 12 to 10. This must be her E, her stun. So she stuns more often. That's unfortunate for me because I get killed that a lot from good Helas who take advantage of the stun and pull that it does. Overall, a very strong buff for Hela, mostly in the utility and extra damage she gets while decreasing her ability to move around. We'll have to see if that has a lasting impact. Next up, we've got Human Torch. So Mr. Johnny here, Johnny Storm, reduces the attack interval of Fire Cluster from 0.6 to 0.5 seconds. And the launch timing of the projectile has been advanced. How fast it leaves his hand, how fast he shoots between. So it's basically just overall a little bit faster. And I think that's going to be very important because his Left click shotgun had this delay effect where you're aiming, shooting, and they're kind of mismatched, so to speak. And now getting them directly in line, I think is going to be make him very strong. People already kind of sleep on his left click a little bit, in my opinion, already. If you get really up on a duelist, you're not supposed to as a flying character, but if you get really close to someone, you can like 1 or 2 shot some characters. It's a big deal. Okay, increasing the cooldown of Flaming Meteor. This is his F when he dashes to the ground. Sorry, console players, I don't know the console controls. From 12 seconds to 15 seconds, but adding a new effect. So this is where I said this is the patch of bonus health. You're going to see quite a few duelists pick up bonus health in ways they didn't already have. After releasing Flaming Meteor, he immediately gains 75 bonus health, and then it starts to fall off 3 seconds later. Basically, what you often have is you use your Flaming Meteor, hit the ground, and then you die pretty much right after. If you didn't kill who you were trying to kill, you'd be dead. This is an effort to try and get him the ability to activate his shift and get away after he does that kind of dive in, that all-in dive. We'll see if that pans out, but this is starting a trend that you'll see. The bonus health is going to be picked up by a lot of people. Moving down to Iron Man. Reduced his Iron Man's hitbox size. They closed him in a little bit. I'm curious about specifics of where this is, and if anyone has any metadata on that, I'd love to see it. But really, this is just going to make him harder to hit in the air at any level, which is kind of interesting. But maybe he was overly easy to hit. Maybe this is okay. But the trade-off is, or an extra bonus he gets 100 bonus health whenever he activates Armor Overdrive or Gamma Overdrive. This is his E, when he activates his E to increase his ability to do damage, which falls off 5 seconds later. So he's getting 100 bonus health when he activates his damaging ability. So he's getting defense and offense all in one ability. I think it's going to make him very strong. He's already pretty hard to lock down once you commit to it, but I think this is making it so that sometimes what would happen is you'd activate your Armor or Gamma Overdrive, you'd get ready to be firing down on someone, and then you'd get shot at and you have to chase off. Now you're wasting that buff, just waiting. You're not getting shot at. I think this is an effort to let you kind of face tank some of that damage for a little bit to get some extra damage opportunities out. We'll see. I still think positioning on Iron Man is the absolute end-all be-all for him. I think it's the most important thing for him. Being able to peek behind corners or hit from angles that you can hit but they can't hit, really important for him. Moving down to Iron Fist. I'm not even going to talk about the fact me and Mr. Is it Lin Lee? Me and Mr. Lin Lee we don't see eye to eye, and that's okay. So they're actually reducing his bonus max health that he gains from Harmony Recovery. This is his channeled E. I think it's his E. Yeah, his shift is his dash. From 150 to 100, but which is the buff they gave him last patch time. Last time they adjusted him. But they want to slow the fall off rate of that health from 25 to 15. So it's like you get less, but it falls off slower. Overall, a change that's meant to maximize your ability to use it as an immediate recovery while giving distance. Sometimes you'd like run away, use it, and by the time you're back in the fight, you've already lost most of the shield, so you didn't get much value out of it. They're lowering the fixed damage of Yatji Jungkoon. This is his once he blocks and then turns into his enhanced left click or auto attacks. Fixed damage is going down again from 10 to 9. So this was already, I think, 12 last time, if I'm not correct. Please correct me if I'm wrong. When they did an adjustment last time, when they added this, the 1.7% max health per hit, enemy's max health per strike. Now they're buffing that again. So they want to push him away from being a backline flank strategist killer and more towards a frontline tank killer, kind of like Wolverine. So buffing it from 1.7% to 2.1%. This is a very large percentage of damage for how long he can do it and how fast he hits. So I'm really curious if this will be enough to really turn him into the tank killer that they want him to be, but we'll see. And decreasing the cooldown, again, kind of more normalization of his Kyun Lun kick. This is his dash execute kick, his shift, from 12 to 10. Okay, Mr. Fantastic. Now this is an interesting change. He's got a lot going on for him, and I think that's because they want to try to emphasize his ability to tank and his utility and kind of take away, not really take away, but augment how he's doing his, well, you'll see. they're going to augment how he's doing his shifting from form to form. So increasing his base health from 350 to 375. So he's just getting a flat buff, which is nice. 25 health isn't a lot sometimes, but it can make a difference, especially when someone's going up in percentage of max health. Boost the damage of Stretch Punch. That's his left click from 60 to 65 per hit, and from 75 to 80 while he's inflated. That's when he's got his buff, his passive fill. Flexible elongation. I believe this is let's see. Fantastic. This is his E, his dash to an ally to shield or dash to an enemy to hurt. So adding a little bit of a change to how he's operating with that E. Now they're going to add a slow effect to it when he hits an enemy. So when he dashes to the enemy, he already gets the bonus health, and they're going to slow. Moreover, they're reducing how the cooldown time of that from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. This is a pretty big change, because remember, this is a charge-based system. He's got 2 of these. So now, over the course of 2 charges, that's an extra 4 seconds of time he's saving. I feel like that's going to make him quite a bit harder to get away from. He was already pretty difficult because the dash can be strong, and he has the pullback with his right click. But now I think it's going to be even better. It's going to be very hard to get away from. They're reducing the elasticity. This is the passive that he fills up in order to inflate, go into his inflated form. They're reducing the amount of elasticity he gains from elastic strength. Elastic strength is using his abilities. So whenever he just uses an ability, he got a passive from 30 to 20. However, Stretch Punch, whenever he punches, is going to go from 5 to 8, again increasing the damage. They want him to use the punches to get his inform as much as possible. After entering the inflated state, the bonus health that's provided is going to be reduced. So he's not quite as tanky now, but he gets it more often, potentially more often, depending. 450 to 400. Most importantly, whenever he uses Brainiac Bounce, this is his ult when he's bouncing, smashing the ground. He immediately gains bonus health equal to that was gained when entering inflated state. This is new, and again, we have the same thing as Johnny, and you're going to see a few others like this, getting bonus health added to their kit where they didn't have it previously. Lots and lots of shielding. Whenever he goes inflated, whenever he goes into the Brainiac Bounce, he gets a shield. But this is nice though, because if you use it like I use it, you'll often have you'll be in your ultimate kind of low because you're using it as your last ditch effort to really hit the enemy and slow them down. And so this bonus health will be enough to keep you alive instead of getting clipped out of it. Mark, Steven, I don't remember all the rest of them. All the boys inside the Moon Knight, they're getting some changes. So Crescent Dart projectile speed has gone from 120 to 150. I believe Crescent Dart is his MO. I believe Crescent Knight is Mr. Moon Knight's left click. Yeah, it is. It's currently 120 meters per second, so his moons that he throws are going to be getting there faster. Also, here again, the bonus health patch, gain 25 bonus health with each enemy hit up to a maximum of 100. 3 seconds after the bonus health stops increasing, it starts to fall off. So basically, as he's outputting his left clicks on people, especially when he's getting bounces, getting more and more bonus health, getting him harder and harder to kill. And then once he stops that onslaught, then he starts to lose that. But I think that the real thing this provides is that he could be a little bit more brawly. I see a lot of Moon Knights, and I don't like to play like this personally, but I see a lot of Moon Knights firing their left clicks and playing from really far away. The drop off on his Crescent Moon Knights is 30 meters, down to half at 50 meters, which catches up to you pretty quick. I don't like to snipe with him. This is how I want to play him. I want to be amongst the crew, and I want to be able to get those bounces on exactly who I want them on. I want to bounce to who I need to get them to. And he's going to be a lot more mobile, and you'll see that because they sped up his hook, the pull-up time. You know how it's super delayed, you shoot, yeah, and he kind of pulls himself up. It's going from 0.4 to 0.15, very fast comparatively, over double as fast pretty much, or less than half the time. So I think this is going to be a huge change. He's going to be very mobile with that pull up, even though it's got kind of a long cooldown. It's still very strong, and I think that that's going to play a role in getting him in and out of these fights really quickly with the bonus health. Everyone's favorite ability of his, Hand of Khonshu, the ult. So they're increasing the duration, 3.5 seconds to 4.5 seconds. Kind of a reversal of one of their other changes last time. Last time they buffed his ult or changed his ult. Increasing the number of talons that are generated from 14 to 18. So it's lasting longer with more hands. The fall speed of the talons it's gotten faster, slightly enhanced. It's gotten faster. The hands are coming down more quickly. Then a new damage fall off. This is the trade-off, right? Anytime they're adding something, they like to take something. Kiss and curse kind of thing. The new damage fall off mechanic for the spell field has been added. So at 1.5 meters within the circle, that's about halfway, I believe, from the center, and reaching a maximum at 5 meters. So it looks like it's about a quarter of the way. 70% reduction to 5 meters. So it's at 5 meters, you're only taking 70% of the normal hand damage, which is still quite a bit. I mean, even right now, we're talking, let's see, right here, 150 damage, right? So napkin math is going to tell me that's going to be like an extra 30, 40, 50 damage off, right? So that's going to be able to make you live. You're not going to get two-shot by the ones at the edge, but there's going to be more of them, and they're going to be coming down more often, or for longer. But his area denial with this, I think, is what makes this super strong. I like the Moon Knight changes. I want him to be a brawler. I like the aerial denial. It's kind of continuing this idea that, like, with the bouncing and everything, he is the anti-group up character. He likes to push people out. He wants to makes their team spread. I think that's very good. Infamous Wanda, Scarlet Witch. Chaos control percentage damage while increasing fixed damage from 60 to 80. She no longer does percent damage with her left click, but now it does even more fixed damage. Pretty strong. Let's go to her here. Scarlet Witch. Or Penny Parker. There she is, Miss Wanda. Scarlet Witch. So chaos control right now is 6 base damage to 0.3% of the max health. This is going up to 8 base damage because it's 0.1 second per hit. 10 per second. So going from 60 to 80, so 6 to 8, instead of the 0.3% of the enemy's max health. I think this is nice. This means that she's pushing into a flanker, strategist, duelist hunting role instead of being okay against tanks, which I think is going to continue with this because her projectile burst damage, again, going up by 5 here and 5 at the field. That means that the initial hit and the AoE around it do 10 more damage total. Her Scythonian burst is already very good for being able to, well, quite literally burst people down. I think we're going to get even more of that. We're going to increase the cooldown of Mystic Projection from 8 seconds to 10 seconds and reduce the phased state time from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. So this is her shift ability. So you get them less often, and she's not in the state for as long. So they want to reduce her ability to move around in that shifted ability, which makes sense because you can kind of use this to float around a fight and kind of take away the ability for enemies to really affect you in any way. And making her more vulnerable in exchange for her increased damage now means that her flanking role is less safe, but now more deadly. In this change I really like, and any Scarlet Witch players will definitely agree. Rework the slow effective Reality Erasure. Reality Erasure, this is her ultimate. It starts the slow at 1.5 seconds in instead of immediately. So you still get a little bit of movement time, quickly movement time, and then you slow down that 35% over 3.5 seconds. This is going to make positioning behind something and like popping out a lot easier. Or positioning behind a portal and dashing through it, things like that. It's going to make her ult a little bit more dynamic, a little bit easier to dodge the initial shots, because a lot of times she'll initiate the ult and immediately get killed, and this should help prevent that. We'll also have to see. Her ult is still pretty hard to land on teams that know what to look for. We'll see if that's if that lasts the same way. Mr. Star-Lord, when reducing Peter's damage output and the efficiency of his ultimate can be pretty oppressive at times, reducing his blaster barrage from 80 to 75 per second, and introducing a damage fall off. So it's already you already don't lock on from a certain distance, and now beyond that, now you also do less damage. They really want you to be close, not sniping with this ability. You should be in amongst a mid-range area, which makes you vulnerable, but also makes it so that you're getting now full damage. I like this change. I don't like when Star-Lords are too far away for me to even see them and I'm taking that damage. Cooldown on the right click from Bucky. So we're on the Winter Soldier, Mr. Bucky Barnes. The cooldown time for Bionic Hook, 8 seconds to 12 seconds. This is his right click, his grab. This is a devastating change. For a full 50% more seconds means that he's going to be even less combo intensive. Right now he's played very loose with the hook and specifically with the combo, and you'll see a lot of players will do you know, shot E, shot hook, shot dash, whatever, and using his passive ability to reload to make up for those cooldowns in between. They're also reducing the base damage of his impact, Kraken Impact, his ult. The damage that hits initially from 100 to 80, but they're also lowering the cooldown from 20%. I don't know why they said but here, because this is an and, lowering the cooldown, the culling threshold from 20% to 15%, which means that you have to kill even more of their health across everybody. For someone like a Venom, this is a huge change. Like all the tanks, pretty much, this is a huge change. So Winter Soldier pretty gutted by these changes, but we'll see. They could have affected other parts of his kit more, and they left those alone. So we'll see if he still maintains one of that top duelist, top kind of brawler roles. Moving on to Wolverine. Returning Logan's rage acquisition rate and slightly lowering his control intensity. So they're increasing the rage he gains from his left click, Savage Claws, while the rage gained from his Berserk Claw Strike, his right click, has been decreased. They want you to get it more from hitting people than dashing at people. They're reducing the rage gain from Feral Leap. This is your shift, your leap, from 20 to 10. And from Vicious Rampage, this is your left click after you've dashed the fast attack, from 20 to 15. However, rage gain from taking damage has also been increased. So basically they want to de-emphasize getting it from your shift and from your dash. They want to get it from your left click and from taking damage. Again, kind of in the fight, in the brawl, sticking around, kind of tankiness is kind of the theme, the idea. They want him to be around the fight instead of just popping in, immediately gaining rage, dashing away with that person and killing them. And then also, they're reducing the time an enemy is knocked down after impact from last stand from 1 second to 0.75 seconds. The stun on his ult is already not really the worst part, but this is good for some people who would die to that initial burst before they could respond. This may give you like just a little bit of time to react with like, you know, an Adam Warlock Soul Bond, or a Scarlet Witch dash when she goes into her phase state. So hopefully this is enough to keep people alive from him. He's pretty strong against when he's used in the right hands. So anything that affects that makes me happy. Okay, here we go. We got strategists now. Mr. Adam Warlock, my king. We're slightly reducing the frequency of Adam's abilities and adjusting the healing provided by his ultimate after reviving. The cooldown for Soul Bond, devastating nerf from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. That's heavy. That's extra 33% extra cooldown. Moreover, this means that between ultimates now, you have to save it. You have to choose. Previously, you could, at 30 seconds or so, save it for each ultimate that pops up. You could block basically 2 duelist ultimates if they're off-timed. Now, that's going to be harder to do. One change that I do like, though, Karmic Revival. Ultimate ability is now reviving them with 30% of their max health instead of a fixed 100 health. For tanks specifically, this is a huge deal. For strategists and duelists, this is a nerf. This is a nerf. Read my lips. Nerf. You have 200 health, 30% of your health is not 100. That's 50% of your health. You're arriving with even less health. If you're a tank, 30% of your health is a lot more health. You're coming back with 200 health or so. So this is a nerf to reviving strategists and duelists, but a buff to reviving tanks, vanguards. We'll see how this affects the meta with him. He's already pretty strong in comps that can revive a lot. Next up, Cloak and Dagger. We're optimizing the logic of this dynamic duo's ultimate. After activating their ult, Eternal Bond, the duration of the first 3 healing zones will no longer be calculated separately. Instead, they remain active until the duration of the final healing zone ends, at which point all will be removed. So this is very interesting. And this does not include their 4th zone, their 4th dash. So now, right now, what can happen is you lay out your kind of 4 dashes, right? And over time, those will dissipate. Now you're gonna get plant. They all go at once. This is a kind of a buff, I would say, a pretty strict buff, because the first 2 pools now last even longer. I think just like with Iron Man, I think one of the key things with Cloak and Dagger, specifically with their Eternal Bond, their ult, super heavy emphasis on getting it in the right spot. Get it in the right spot. It's going to last forever and be annoying. It's going to keep your team alive and hurt the enemy a lot. I think that's a great change. This Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, will be fine-tuning Susan's protective capabilities to create a more strategic gameplay experience. They just basically want to take 50 damage off of her shield, and that's fine. She can already spam it in front of people, and it regenerates really quick. It's basically always available at a moment's notice. This is a good change. She gets a lot of value out of this shield, and I think that's going to get even stronger as a lot of these other bonus health people start living. This is going to provide even more substance to the duelist living, and so we need to be able to take it where we get it. Loki. They're increasing the cooldown of his regenerative domain. These are his rocks that he spawns above him from 25 to 30. Now this change is interesting because this 5-second change does not take it out of the 30-second rotation of a lot of duelist ultimate timings, depending on how fast they're doing damage. So like the Warlock one, the Soul Bond, you're going to be able to choose. This one I don't think is going to change your calculation. I think if you had it, you're holding it for 30 seconds. If you're holding it for 25 seconds, you can hold it for 30 seconds. I don't think this is going to change the math on that, but we'll see. You can already spam it outside of the need for blocking ultimates early. So we'll see if maybe now we use this more in the fights, or less in the fights, and more specifically just from ultimate blocking now. Next up, we got Miss Mantis. It says strategy over speed. We're modifying Mantis' health and buff. They're reducing her base health. That's less and less. Effective healing flower and allied inspiration can be stacked. This is really, look at me when I say this. This is huge. This is so massive. Mantis has needed this for so long. They give you the tracking on the right-hand side, tell you who's got your buff and for how long, and that's nice. Being able to just load like a tank up with like 3 of them right all at once, and he can go sailing off on his own. This is an insane change, and I think this makes her super fun, especially if you play her like I do, where you pick your best duelist. Don't let the other ones know, or do. You load that person up, healing and amp, let them go, follow them in the background, take your headshots where you get them, keep flowing it. And then now they're basically permanent buffed. When Pocket Mantis has got a huge buff from this. Pocket Mantis is very strong now. Hopefully that maintains that way. We'll see. Mr. Rocket Raccoon, a lot of changes, and not all good. Arguably, depending on how you play him, bad. But we'll see. They're decreasing the area of his repair mode spheres, his right clicks. They're increasing the how much health they give from 70 health per second to 50 health per second. But the first time an ally is touched by the field, they get 55 health. This is a buff to overall healing by the numbers, because most don't stand near the orbs long enough for them to have gotten 55 health out of it, typically. That being said, that's a huge amount of burst healing he's got now, and the projectile speed has been increased 4.5 to 7. Um, so they're a lot faster now too. They leave him quicker. They heal instantly. This means he has to spend less time healing. He doesn't just have to sit there and right-click spam the whole time. The trade-off: extend the cooldown for jetpack dash from 6 to 10 seconds. Huge nerf. And reduce the dash distance from 10 to 8. Brother, you're using both of your dashes or none of your dashes, and that's it. Jetpack dash has basically been gutted, completely killed. But that's pretty much what it's going to be. And CYA, his ultimate, when he puts this thing down, damage boost from 40 down to 25%. Huge nerf. But they're adding a... This is a nerf for me personally. They're adding a new ability. During the duration, allies gain 100 bonus health per second. See the theme. A lot of bonus health. Capping at 150. After breaking the link, they lose it. And he gets it less often. Energy cost increase from 3,700 to 400. I think that this is a huge change. And it makes his ultimate more... I'm going to choose my words carefully here. More typical strategist friendly. But it makes it worse for me. I like damage buffs. I like making my team do damage. Their numbers going up really high is huge for everybody. I don't like this change, personally. I think this takes away from him and makes him more boring. I don't like that. I'm not going to go over the adjustments to team up abilities that are changing. There's not many. Yeah, let's go over them real quick. The new one for Scarlet Witch, she gets the Mystic Burst ability. This is basically like a machine gun shot. It shoots really fast over a duration that comes down. Doctor Strange getting 100 max health. That's really nice, even though he does like no damage now, or considerably less damage. Didn't say no damage. Captain America and Winter Soldier, finally, Steve and Bucky are coming together. Captain America getting, see, here's that buff, an extra 100 health and 5% damage. This is massive. This is massive. And exactly what I expected. He'd be getting a little bit of tankiness and a little bit of damage, making him unique, because that's where he lives, is in this tanky damage role. And Bucky gets the Stellar Impact ability, which is where he gets the dash and explosion on the ground. Very strong. I think this is a great ability. Mental Projection, this is the new Emma Frost ability with Psylocke and Magneto. She gets 100 health out of this, so basically her new baseline. And the team ability gives them both a copy of themselves that copies their abilities or something like that, or makes them tankier. I'm not sure what it does, but this looks to be very strong. In exchange, Bucky is leaving the ammo overload. Rest in peace. It was good while we had it. Namor is leaving the chilling charisma with Luna Snow because Namor's moving into the Gamma Charge. He's getting a Gamma Monstro out of this now. Psylocke is leaving the Dimensional Shortcut because she's being picked up by the Emma Frost team up. And Magneto and Scarlet Witch's Metallic Chaos is going away. And moreover, same thing as I said earlier, Thor's Voltaic Union with Storm and Captain America is going away as well. So, in conclusion, a lot of changes. Overall, a lot more tanky for a lot of people, losing health here and there, but gaining a lot of bonus health. I think you're going to see an overall trend towards faster, more damaging games, with the exception of not having those games take place so far apart. There's kind of more of an emphasis on this kind of mid-range, brawling and out kind of fight, which I think is more dynamic, more electric, and more exciting, but kind of misses the takes a little bit away from the inspiration the game started with, which is like these super powered people going at it from all kinds of angles. We'll see. I'm excited nonetheless. I think Emma Frost looks really good. I think a lot of these changes are really strong. I think that overall, champions, the heroes that I like, doing very good, and that makes me happy. But you know what they say. There's more to come, and we're not done yet. Thanks for watching. Yep.